when we got married, I think it was after the place where we used to stay, it got fire, so we had to, when you have insurance, they will make sure you are okay, things like those ones. So we went to a hotel. So we were staying in a hotel while we were still looking for another place. So once I found another place, I moved into another place by myself with my child. So because when he got discharged, he went straight to another, to another woman's house. So, technically there we were, that's when the separation started. Legally, by law, we were separated.
Were you separated because you had initiated a divorce process, or you were separated because...
No, that time I had not initiated anything.
Oh, okay. So you guys just opted to separate.
We did not opt to separate. I didn't even know I didn't even know all that occurred. I didn't even know it was going on because both sides were being played. The other woman's side and my side were being played. So it was just manipulative games. So I didn't even know, once he get discharged from the hospital, he'll go. Let me backtrack a little bit.
Yeah,
while he was in the hospital, he was diagnosed with TB. And when you have TB, you have to be isolated. So, and Lydia got the TB. My daughter was, she got the TB, and so they were supposed to be separated. We were not, if you are, you have to be, you know what I mean. You have to be separated. Yeah. So they told him. So the doctor told him he has to be away from Lydia for about 2 weeks. But then I think the nurse is the doctor that was in charge. Kinda didn't know anything, because if you are tuberculosis is an airborne disease. So once you have tuberculosis but you're on medicine, you can still interact with people as long as you are on medicine, and you can wear your mask. Yeah. But then that time, I think that at that point it was taken advantage of. So once he went, that was it. So it was just back and forth, trying to rekindle stuff, and then they don't work out. So it was just like that, back and forth. Then, until that August, when, when I was pregnant with the son, that's when we stayed together for about three months, from August, 3 months exact, to be precise. Yeah.
So you said that he was in the hospital. While he was in the hospital, were you separated?
No, we were not separated. That time we were still together.
Oh, okay. And so you went to visit him in the hospital all that time?
I visit him because I remember that time I was doing a night shift. So every time when I leave night shift in the morning at 7, I come take a shower, I go to the hospital with my daughter. We stay there the whole day. I come back home and then straight to work.
And then after he was discharged from the hospital, did he come back to your house?
No. What? Not full time, not full time. He used to visit here and there, but not just
Wait,
not like a husband and wife relationship now.
Wait, the day when he was discharged from the hospital, did he come to your house?
No.
Wait, what? He went to another place?
Yes.
Where?
I don't want to mention names because I don't want to include people, that are not in my, I just don't want to do, especially to that person, that one person. I don't want to mention the name. Yeah.
That's okay, but he did not come to you?
Yes, he did not.
Did he meet that other person before you?
Yes, he met the other person before me.
Was that person married when they met?
Yes.
And you were aware of this?
Towards, I think 2020 is when I was aware of it, when I visited Florida for the first time, because when we started talking in 2018, he had not told me anything regarding, anything, I just used, I never even used to know they live together. It was just, I come, when she comes, she visits, that was it. But, he was living with her and they had gotten the apartment together.
And you were not aware?
No, that one I was aware. When I came to Florida, they were still living together and I was aware of that. So the person that was living with him, we had a conversation woman to woman, and she was okay with me being with him because she was still married, and she was very kind enough to be like, I'm still married, I wish if, see, for me, I didn't have no baggage, I didn't have no kids, I didn't have no marriage, I didn't have no relationship still going on. So she was just like, since you guys, you are single, he's single, you guys can just go ahead.
And at that time, she genuinely wanted you guys to get married.
Yeah, from how she spoke to me, it was genuine. Yeah.
Because she thought you guys were in love.
Yeah, she thought it was a genuine thing, so she was just like, yeah, just go ahead, you guys be together. But then when I moved here, then he moved in with me because they had a little difference, so he moved in with me. And then it was just back and forth games, mind games, manipulative games, back and forth.
What kind of mind games?
Because he will tell the other one he is not with me, he goes and tells the other one, just how men, he was just talking back and forth. He was not being transparent to any of us.
So when all of this was happening, you still thought that this other person wanted you to just get married because they cared for you?
That time, even the marriage was not into the equation. It was just like, let's, be in a relationship. But later on, it was, being worked towards marriage.
And at what point did you feel like this wasn't a marriage that was going to work?
Yeah, at that point, I thought it would. The time that I got married, I thought, it's something that, eventually maybe it could have worked. But then it never did.
So why didn't you leave when you realized you're being manipulated and played?
I was already here, so everybody was just having everybody was just living their own lives. I was already in Florida. I moved from Missouri to Florida, so I was already here. I had my lease, so and very well, you can't just abandon a lease and leave.
Yeah. So technically, he wanted to marry you, but he did not love you.
No, from the word go, it was just for the papers. It was just for immigration benefits.
So he was using you for immigration papers. Did you ever get to file for him?
No, I did not. The time that I went to file, it was last year. I think it was November. I went to file for it, and then that time I did not go to file. I just went to a legal advisor and I asked him what I can do. And he told me, from your story, what you are explaining to me, this seems like it was not a genuine marriage. And then he asked me the legal names. So when I gave him the legal names, and he searched on, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Twitter and everything, it's gonna still bring the name. Yeah. So he was like, he looked over, he was like, this is what immigration does nowadays. They will go search the online stuff, they will go search, even employers, they still search online. So he was like, is this the person you are talking about? Because, clips are everywhere. So he was like, is this the person that you are talking about? And I was like, yes. He was like, let me, I don't want your money. I don't want to help you guys so that you can file for him, because if you want to do that, if it's just to give him papers, then both of you should lay low, because people do that here. They lay low. If you want to do just for the benefits of papers, you lay low until you get your documentation, because you don't want to show anything out here that is not genuine. So he was like, yeah, he was just like, you guys should go and talk it through. Yeah, that's just what he told me.
So was it at that point that you decided you're not filing for him?
Yeah, that time I did not withdraw. When he moved, that's when I withdrew. When we were separated again, that's when I just called him and I was like, hey, I'm not gonna move through with it, because I had already told him, hey, I'm gonna file for you, and I told him it's gonna take like about a year, all that process, and he was like, oh, I cannot wait for a year. I even told him, we should go and seek a legal advice, but he was not into it. So, after he left, that's when I told the guy, nothing like that will happen.
I'm proud of you. I'm fucking proud of you. Thank you. Thank you. Because you know what would have happened to you? You'd
Yeah,
have been...
he told me you both parties, I didn't want to say it, but he just said both parties will be charged with marriage fraud. Yes.
That
It's,
is
if
what...
immigration sees stuff like those ones, will they automatically be charged with marriage fraud.
Thank you. You did well. You protected yourself. So technically, he does not have paperwork.
No, because I did not file for him, so I don't know if he has it or he doesn't have it. But as for me, I didn't. As that moment when we were, we were living as husband and wife, I did not file for anything. So
That's very
he
smart.
does have it. I don't know, but yeah, I did not do it, so I don't know.
Mm. That's good. I think that's a good thing that you did because you needed to protect yourself and with your children especially.
Yeah, and I even brought the conversation. I was like, this can cost us, because I know, do you know people do that here in America? You buy someone, you pay them money, they give you paperwork, but then at least both parties know they are doing that so that, you can protect each other. You don't just put it out there like, this is for the benefits of paperwork, you protect each other, yeah.
Yeah, so when his social medias were pulled by the lawyer you went to consult, they obviously saw the content of other women.
Yeah, they saw, because when they pulled the legal names, it brought it brought it just brought all the people tag the names, sometimes, yeah, they tag the names, so it just pulls up.
So it brought all his social media and everything.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. So you now are separated, and I wanted you to go back a little bit and talk to me about your experience when you found out you were pregnant and how that journey was for you until the time that you gave birth.
With both pregnancies, I mean, when I was pregnant with my girl, it was hectic. At first, I had gestational diabetes, but then towards the end, when I was going for for just my routine checkup, I had severe preeclampsia, and so I had to be induced for labor. So both of my pregnancies, they've been hard. With Lydia, I never had so much. That time I was living with Lydia's dad, but yes, we were helping each other. He goes to work, we were helping each other here and there, but it wasn't that much help because, when you have a child, you have to consult both parents. You're like, oh, how will the child be, if they are going to daycare, if somebody is going to look after, after the child, but it was just on one-sided. So I wasn't getting any help with it. And then with the boy, I know people are like, oh, why did he get to him again after? That's all people are always saying on TikTok. One thing I want to say is when, for me as an adult, those were our actions. And so from our actions, it's not just mimba, the way they always say, "Mbona ulishika mimba na yeye." They have to know the fact is a child was conceived. And that child, it's alive. So every time when they're like, oh, kwa nini alishika mimba yake ni nini? I'm like, it's not just about mimba. Kids do not choose their parents. If you wanted to know better, it's both parties. Huyo anaweza ka withdraw atumie condom ama niende nitumie P2. But at that time even I was on a depot shot when I got pregnant. I just been introduced on a depot shot for like I think it was like 2 months. So I got pregnant on a depot shot, and I'm somebody that keeps kids, because you can imagine if maybe I had decided to abort my kids, then do you see my kids, man? Those are beautiful kids. Like ningefashtua watu hiyo in the toilet. Exactly.
No,
So
abortion is a choice.
exactly. So I kept them, and I kept them for even the second pregnancy. The doctor was like, okay. The doctor was like, because of my history with the first one, so he was like, it's up to you if you want to keep it or if you want to, if you want to abort it medically, if medical reason, for some reasons medically, you can abort, it's advised to do so. So I had that conversation with my kid's dad, and I was like, hey, I found out I have a second pregnancy, because he was not believing, because, I don't know. So I told him, I have pregnancy with the second pregnancy, with the second baby, and I've been advised either to, to terminate it or to keep it because of my, history with Lydia, severe preeclampsia, and then, just because I was, with Lydia, I was in a verge to, to die. So up America, they will just keep it safe with you, instead maybe nyinyi wote mkufe ama mmoja wenyu akufe. So when I told him that, I wanted to know if he's gonna be there to support me, because I had already been there with Lydia with no support. I've taken Lydia, right now she's 3 years. I've been there with Lydia for those 3 years with no help. The only time that he came to help me was these 3 months. And that time, I can say he was doing, he was paying where we were staying with. Sikuwa na contribute anything. That's for the first time ever in kids' life, alinisaidia na bill. So for that one, like, hapo nitampatia credit yake, but other than that, the child is 3 years old. The child, they have doctor's appointment, they have clothes, they need food, they need shelter, they need all that. But I was doing it on my own. So I was like, hey, because I was doing it on my own with the first one, I don't want to know, like, I'm gonna be with the second one by myself. So I needed that reassurance, like he's gonna be there. And so he was like, yeah, I'm gonna be there, I'll support you. But then, he wanted to make right where he was, because pia unajua, you just can't just walk away. Both sides we had kids, so he wanted to make right where he was. But so when it came, ayo help haikuwa inakuja. I remember the first few months, I was very sick, the morning sickness and whatnot. I was very sick, so I didn't have that help. And I would call him, I would tell him, hey, niko mgonjwa. At the time, the time ya Lydia, I had COVID. And you know how COVID, I don't know did you ever have COVID?
Yeah, I know how COVID.
Like, I was super weak everywhere. So I was like, hey, I would have imagined angekuja hata achukue Lydia aenda akae na yeye. If he wanted not just to be around me just because of precautions. So I was like, hey, could have just came and taken Lydia, but nilipambana na mtoto wangu. Every time when Lydia is sick, mimi ndo niko na yeye. Every time mimi niko mgonjwa, tunapambana na hali yetu. Even if he knows I need that help, he's not gonna bring that help.
What was he telling you? What were the reasons for not showing up?
Most of the time, anasemanga, you can just ask for it. But if you choose to be a parent, I expect you to use your common sense. You should just tell when somebody needs your help, especially when it's regarding your child. Me as an adult, I do not care. If you want to be there for me or you don't want to be there for me, that's okay. I am an adult. But when it pertains to your child, then, yeah, I expect you to be there. And when you're not there, that triggers me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should be upset because he should be a responsible parent.
Yes, you should just be responsible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry you had to go through that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm terribly sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
That you had to experience that. And
I've been there for my kids by myself. I can say that with confidence. So when I come here, I'm like, I don't want a social media parent. I want a present parent. You don't have to be like, oh, at least I don't have to worry about sending money. You're not sending me money. You're not sending me money. You're sending your kids money, not me. So let's get that right. If you